Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing?
Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday.
Hi, Jabestina.
Welcome to our YouTube channel.
Yep, it's your first time meeting us. We are the Common Sense Sisters. Yes, the one and only Common Sense Sisters. My name is Yo-Yo.
My name is Ella.
And to all the returning Common Sense Squad members, those who actively watch our videos.
Yes, only those who
they subscribe. They are subscribed and they actively watch our videos.
Comment,
engage. We appreciate you all. I hope you all are having a wonderful weekend. Happy New Month. I think this is the first live show for the month of June.
Yes, it is.
This is June 4th. Yep. So who's in the house? Who are the people in the house? Dr. Temity!
Our Ducky in the house! President! Everybody, please hit the like button.
What's up?
Hit the like button on your entry and be inviting more friends.
Just copy the link and put it in your family group
your
chat.
WhatsApp group chat, your Facebook chat,
your
Instagram.
Family group chat. This video must be there right now.
Because today we are dragging
family members,
all
parents,
represented, all protocols observed. We
will drag with all alacrity, integrity. Common sense. There will be tears. There will be laughter. There will be cry. But there will be common sense.
We don't need generator wire.
We don't need tiger. No. Intellectual
dragging
with a lot of social issues going on.
Chill power. We see you.
Thank you from Houston.
Yes, so thank you for engaging with our community posts.
Yes,
your comments.
Chill power and President. They always engage.
They keep us live. Yes, so
if you have not gone to go and vote,
election has passed. You can still vote to vote.
You can still vote, but the results have been calculated.
The results have been counted.
We know what they use broom. Say they do vetting pool.
No.
Say we are vetting. After people have donated 100 million.
Yeah. We're not finna do that.
We're not going to. Yes, hi, go
sweetie in the house.
Yes, there will be intellectual gra.
Hey.
A sprinkle of a seasoning of vowel lecture.
Alacrity, you know what we're talking about.
Yes. Because these are difficult issues.
Other people were there, like, come inside though.
Yes, so unless you are outside shopping, those of you that are cleaning your bathroom right now, take a minute to come and say hello and comment right now.
Greetings everybody that came early.
We appreciate you with the blow and Vashwa kids, and we share food at the end of the live show. Vashwa food.
Please.
So that's why you have to join.
Yes. Okay, let's go with our announcement before we get into the bonge of today's ministry.
Because today people are going to be touched.
Yes, in different ways.
Regularly scheduled announcements.
Our normal squad obligations, please be respectful. This topic is very sensitive as well as all the other topics that we carry, but you already know the vibe. Be open-minded, stay on topic, don't use bad words, please. Subscribe, hit on the notification bell so you get notified whenever I post our videos, like and share. If you're new to the squad, we see some new squad members. Thank you very much for joining in. Please lift us away from this 2.0.
Lift us away.
Lift us away
from 2K.
Lift us away from 2K.
Lift us away.
What take this?
Do something higher.
How can we be all of us that spread common sense on this channel? We're still in 2K. Mean that only like.
So you people are hyped. Last week when we came here, when Professor Adewale said people like to hold knowledge and information. It is your responsibility to share common sense. Just share the link. You don't have to care what people have to say or their opinions. Just drop it there. Let common sense go viral for good reasons. Now.
All right. Visit the community page. That's where we usually post on our scheduled announcements and our voting polls. And then we have a playlist packed with so many things for you all to watch, ranging from serious level to happiness and joy,
to food,
everything
laughter.
Is there. And finally, we're on different social media platforms. Common Sense Sisters everywhere you go, but not like MTN.
No, not like MTN. No, our network no they shake.
They shake sometimes. Oh, the Wi-Fi they shake, but our own network
of common sense.
Network of common sense.
You know they shake. You know they shake. Ah, who are the people more there? More there.
Hello. Okay.
Now. You want to go fast?
No, my sister, please take the baton.
You see, in life, there's always going to be wahala.
Did we talk about today's topic?
And the topic of today now.
And based on votes, we put out the poll yesterday. 17 votes at the time where we did these screenshots. And 47% wanted overly African father destroyed my life. By the time we posted it yesterday, it was more than the one below. So the first live show is this guy.
Yeah, this is the one we're tackling
This is what
first.
we're talking now.
Before we get to the second live show, as we usually do it, though. This one is hot. Second live show is
hotter. Okay, so you, my dear, please carry on.
As human beings, you know, there will always be wahala. In short, from the day that you were conceived, that you did not know that you will be in this world, till the day you finally make it out, you know, there will always be wahala.
Yes.
And as you grow up, when you become an adult, familiarity of Kwengen, familiarity of wahala can either motivate you to find your own roots in life or stay in the cage and be wahalalized, which means you'll be accepting all the BS that is being done to you because of fear. Now, this has resulted in many people, young people, children becoming adults, and then because this thing, they did not take the leap of faith, or they did not have opportunity to be able to address or be able to speak to somebody about it, it starts impacting every aspect of their lives. So from their career to their relationship with people, whether it's romantic relationship, platonic relationship, you know, any type of relationship they have, or even community or society, there's something that they are fighting. Then it brings them to two major characters that is usually very popular. Either they become very timid human beings, very, very timid. So they become
in their shell.
In their shells. People pleasers. So they start seeking for where they will find love, where they will find attention, because there's a void. Sometimes they don't even know that that's a void, but there's a void that they are seeking to fill, and they become victims in the process. Or the other extreme, they will become violent, wild. So they will use other things to try and, you know, run away from this battle that they are fighting, most times internally.
Yes.
Right? So either they'll be using medications, or they will be doing a lot of harmful stuff to themselves, and eventually sometimes they go and harm other people. That takes us to the topic of today.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, it happens globally, everywhere. I'm avid watcher of YouTube live shows or people's stories, and I realized that the only reason why we usually talk mostly about African stuff is because
we are Africans.
We are Africans.
And it's our story.
Of course, the platform is open to people of other races and culture, because we would like to
also hear, because if what we go through as Africans or Nigerians also happens. Like, we watch different people's videos, we know that they occur, but it's also be nice to come and share on the platform as well.
Yeah. And in this case, we will be telling people the stories. These are real life stories from the mouthpiece, the fingertips. From the fingertips of people that are currently going through this pain. And usually they will share because they want advice. That's one of the reasons.
Or sometimes it's a viral video on social media and we talk about it. And in the case of today, we are talking about how African fathers destroy the lives of their children. Yeah. Knowingly or unknowingly.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start. The first video that we're going to be sharing might be triggering to some people, but we have to do it anyways. We will be playing the videos that we will share only once. And for the stories that are written in text, we will narrate them only once. So please pay attention whilst we do so. And this video is for the African fathers. The next live show is for the African mothers. So everybody, gather your African parents. Let them come.
And we are taking you to Ghana.
Yes, we'll go to Ghana, we'll go to Nigeria. Let them come. Today is the buffet.
Today is the day.
Collect your share. Anyone that is for you,
exactly.
All right. Sharing
the screen momentarily.
Should we go to Ghana first, Yo-Yo?
We go Ghana first now.
Okay, so let's go to Ghana first. All right, everyone. I'm sure everybody can see what we are looking at here. And the first story is of a Ghanaian native doctor who invited the police to arrest a man who wanted to sacrifice his children for money. We're going to play the video.
But it's in their Ghanaian language.
Their Ghanaian language,
Yeah. But he spoke some English too.
So he says a video making rounds online has captured the moment where police who were called by a native doctor arrived at the scene to arrest a man who wanted to sacrifice his 2 daughters for money in Ghana. Yoyi-based herbalist Nana Adu Bafo invited the police to arrest the father of 12, identified as Evans Opong. The suspect is said to have picked his daughters from school while classes were still on, and headed straight to the herbalist's house to perform the rituals. The suspect, who claims to have returned from a sojourn abroad, is said to have visited the home of the herbalist and requested to be made rich. He also promised to sacrifice his 2 children for money. We're not going to narrate because it's the exact same thing as what the herbalist has said.
But the herbalist actually, I think he said, this is where the herbalist, this one is just narration from what the blog said. But the herbalist actually said that the father of 12 came to visit him, came to meet him. He had landed the country. He's been in overseas for a while, not doing anything good for himself. So nothing came out of it. The father of 12 offered 10,000 Ghana cedis, 10,000 Ghana cedis, and other good surprises when the job is done. Sadly, he was going to be picked up by the police because of that act, right? Now let's play. Are you going to play the video? Yeah.
Let's see.
So yeah, we can play the video.
Movie, I miss you too. Hey, can I say? Move, I miss you too. Can I say?
Okay, so that's the first
story. For those of you that didn't understand what he was saying, I'm going to try and narrate. Now, the native doctor, he used to be, he's a retired military officer, unbeknownst to the father of 12. This native doctor said that he called the police when he heard what this man wanted to do to his daughter, right? The man, apparently, the father of this young girl that you see being scared and crying, actually he went to pick up the daughter from school and deceived her that he was going to take her to where she can go and buy some clothes. Of course, it's her father. She would not believe otherwise, right? Not knowing that the father was taking her to, in quote, this native doctor to be used as sacrifice so that he can make money. You get what I'm saying? Now, unbeknownst to him, that this native doctor, who called himself a herbalist, called the police to come in and to be able to pick up this man and arrest this man for this evil act. We come from a society where, and one of us, and also another reason why
he has 12 children. Yeah, a few weeks ago we spoke about the thing of, are children a blessing from God? Children are not a blessing from God. Having numerous children and the reasons why you are having this amount of kids. You carry on, please.
Yeah. Another reason why this herbalist did this thing too is also to raise awareness, to debunk things that are being portrayed in the media most of the time from Nollywood movies or Ghanaian movies, that native doctors are evil people, But he's a herbalist, telling the difference that no, this is otherwise. This thing, it's not always true. I'm a good man and all those things. And that's why he reported to the police. And of course, kudos to the Ghana police. They came straight, and they the person who was videoing this thing decided to share. This story broke out yesterday.
Yes.
That's how we saw the story yesterday. So be keeping this in mind. It's not the first time I'm hearing or I'm seeing that most African parents, that are not fulfilled in their life, they blame their children. We've seen this also happening in Akwa Ibom State, where most parents from that place, they would accuse their children of witchcraft and cast them out to houses where they think that they are doing exorcism or they are casting and binding. Those children become malnourished. NGOs, sometimes they are fortunate to see NGOs that would, pick up the children and start taking care of them, try to trace their roots. It is and so those are two cases.
These are two cases. We'll move on to the next one now. This next one, it might be triggering to some people, but just watch it. We're going to be playing a video of a father who was verbally abusing his son and also beating his son while at the same time cutting off his dreadlocks. So let's see. So yes, this is video number 2. I think I'll take it off the screen.
Yeah,
because
it's quite triggering.
It's quite triggering. And then we'll talk about it here.
Yeah, we have to.
All right.
So those are the two stories for now. Let's hold up to that. Let's talk about this one first because more are coming, right? First of all, I want to welcome people who are just joining us.
Yes. I think I saw
Cool Mama. Welcome, Cool Mama.
Yes, so greetings.
How are you? Greetings and happy Saturday. Welcome.
And Dayo, greetings. Welcome.
This thing is very, very common. And you would think that don't think that it's only happening in Africa. Some of the African parents, they carry the behavior across the board.
Yes.
So the same abroad that they bring their children to, that they in hopes that their children will have better life and better education, they will still abuse them there in the disguise of discipline. What's the end goal? The second video obviously was from Nigeria, the Yoruba father, cutting off the dreadlocks of his son.
And you're not only cutting off the dreads of this boy, you are physically beating him and you are also insulting him. I don't know Yoruba too much. I know Oloriburuku is an insult.
Yeah.
Insulting him. How can you destroy your child's self-esteem so bad? African parents, many of them care more about their selfishness and about they will choose their status over their children for the most part. And they, like what we say, or like I say on this channel, there are two things for the most part that most African parents give to their children when they produce them into the earth. The first one is religion, and the other one is sprinkles of the culture that will favor the control that they have over the child for the lifetime of the child. So, for example, if you have a family where they are of a particular tribe in Nigeria, and then let's say they are Christians, they would not all teach their children major significant things about their culture. Sometimes they might not even teach them the language or customs of their own culture. But they will see the good things of the culture. But they will hold on to the toxic part of those culture and then blend it with Christianity and their own selfish gains. But you are raised to say you have to honor your father and your mother. You must respect them. And respecting the African culture mostly means fear and you control. Not having a voice.
Yeah.
So you are raised to be a yes ma or a yes sir, depending on the angle it goes. And it doesn't only limit itself to your father and your mother. This becomes worse when you have aunties or uncles or area people who just have their mouth and nose in your own personal and family business.
Yeah.
Some parents will shame their children in front of strangers. For example, you see that what that African father, what that Nigerian man was doing there, cutting off his son's dress, insulting. You could hear the wails of this boy. That young man is probably in his late teens or early 20s.
Yeah, late teens.
In his late teens or early 20s.
Yeah.
Why are you cutting off your child's hair? You will hear things that, oh, children, you have to, if you go outside You are representing me. You cannot wear these dreadlocks. What will
cannot wear
people
this
say?
dress. What will people say?
You cannot wear this dress.
representing me.
You cannot wear this. You cannot wear
this
this color of hair.
Yeah.
You'll be known as a wayward child. This is how Yahoo people dress. This is how Olosho girls dress.
So they body shame them.
They body shame you. They say, oh, the boys, you're not supposed to wear earrings. You're not supposed to have tattoo. You're not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to do this. So you limit your children so bad. You destroy their self-esteem. You make them a shell of their self. You control their mind. Even that so that even if the child is miles and miles and miles away from you, because their brain is already caged by that parent, they already have the control over them and every other aspect of their life. As a child, even when you grow up into adulthood, you feel that you cannot exist in the world without always having confirmation
from your parents, disguised as parental blessings.
Yes.
So the more you try to fight this toxicity, like Amaka is saying, casting them out is even a light example. Some kill the poor children or beat them to the point where they become disabled. Very, very true. Very, very true. Very, very, very true. So they abuse them. The one that we are seeing online is just a tiny reflection of what's happening every day.
Yes.
Every day.
Yes.
And don't be surprised when you see people that promote abuse. So they give example like, your father knows best. Your mother knows best.
They've been there before.
They want the best for you.
Yes.
Do they really want the best for you? Who wants the best for somebody without communicating with the person?
And how do you know what my best will be?
Exactly. So sometimes some parents, when they don't live a fulfilled life, whether you are working or you are retired, they project everything on what they desire, what they imagine to be on the child. You don't see the child as a whole human being.
No, you don't.
You don't see them as people that they have their gifts,
their feelings,
their
rights.
You don't see that. So when you try to fight the narrative, what you get is wayward child.
You are dishonorable to your parents. I did not do this to my parents, so I did not expect that you would do this to me. But if you are doing this to me, your child will do it to you.
Yeah. But then when another part where you see angle where this abuse is coming up very, 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 very steady is that technology, the African parents have looked for it. They found a way.
With the help of their children.
With the help of their children.
We are the ones that introduce them to technology.
Yes. To be able to use technology to what? To continue the control. So you have this, that the WhatsApp, the Facebook. So Facebook came. Of course, some people were so excited. Oh, I have my family and members and others. If I'm living abroad, I'll be able to talk to them, blah, 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 in good faith, right? Then you have the WhatsApp. WhatsApp is where this generation, these parents, they continue their control. So it comes in form of forwarding messages that indirectly passes their message to you. So you may have had the confidence to discuss something with them. It can be your dream or anything. Because they are against it, they look for videos that they forward to you.
Where maybe, for example, you've just told your dreams of wanting to become a doctor. Let's say you want to become a doctor. But your father or your mother, they've always wanted to become an engineer. They will start looking for videos whereby kids who wanted to be doctors, but they disobeyed their parents, had some sort of doom in life. Meanwhile, they eventually became doctors, but something happened to their career.
Yes.
Then you say, had it been that you listened to your parents, this wouldn't have happened to you. Forgetting the fact that parents too are human beings, and they are also very limited. Very, very limited.
Mere mortals. So they forward all those things, or you are in a family group chat, and the family group chat, it's all about breeding toxicity. So you have competition between yourself and your siblings because your parents are choosing preferences based on gender. So they treat the boy child better than the girl child, or they treat the girl child better than the boy child.
Or they treat the last born better than the first born. They give first and second borns hits. To believe that, I think you were talking about.
To believe about discipline and control.
Yeah, if I control and the first born and the second born this way, then the other siblings will know how to fall in line.
Exactly. Exactly. But you are there in that group chat and you are afraid because they will say you are disobedient. They will say, oh, you don't want to communicate with the family. Please, before WhatsApp and everything, is it not when our grandparents will see our parents that they will take them?
Yeah.
Most of you, your parents did not live with your grandparents.
Yeah.
Heck, it was in your parents' era that education even came, colonization even came. They went
Nigeria was sweeter for them. Some of them went to
freedom,
scholarships.
some of them
left abroad, went abroad. There was no communication whatsoever. Highest letter. which will take months because it's coming through mail,
And
either ship or airways.
And they were smarter than their own parents.
Yes.
In the sense that they became educated. So it's whatever they tell their own parents will believe.
For the most part, their parents allowed them to be who they wanted to be.
Exactly.
You have people whose parents were not Christians, but today they are Christians or fake Christians, because sometimes these days we're hearing that people who are Christians too, they go and hide their traditional beliefs and mask under Christianity, but in secret they practice their traditional beliefs. You know, so you have some people whose parents did not believe in Jesus, or they were not Muslims or whatever, but they on their own chose their own faiths.
Yeah. So like children's grandparents
were not Christians.
Yeah.
You know, and some of them too, their children also did not have relationships with their own parents.
Yes.
So it's like it's everything that they said is yes and amen.
Yes.
If I'm going to the village today, that's when my mother or my father is going to see me. But you expect that your child will tell you when they wake up, when they are sleeping, and every single aspect of their life. Forgetting the fact that these people are also human beings and full adults in their own stride.
So some parents think that they don't owe any accountability to their children.
That's the word.
They think they don't owe. So you think that your children should obey what you say and not what you do. Yes.
Like what Egosa is saying.
Yeah, even in adults, they even choose careers for their children. Yes. So, and they promote this fear. And the fear is always, I'm your parents. I know what's best for you. If I curse you, it will come to pass. Please. Please. The one you're already doing to them is not curse. When you open your mouth to consistently verbally abuse your child, what is there? It's very, I think it was when, I was listening to a comedy show some years ago. That's when I started hearing like some comedians that would say that, you know, sometimes some African parents will beat you for no reason. Or they will see another child doing something that they think that they have to beat you first so that you know not to. So they don't communicate. Yes, they don't communicate. And there's no accountability. So if they break plates or they spill water on the floor, when you, the child, ask them that, why are you not beating yourself? Why are you not shouting at yourself? You'll say, well, adults, sometimes they'll make mistakes, but as a child, you're not supposed to make those mistakes. All your mentality is being caged, masked as what? Tough love. And some people think that, for example, when they grow up or leave the house, or when they are even getting married, that it will change. Yeah. Oh! I think there was a YouTube channel where one lady we were watching where she said even like after she got married, her father tried to also beat her. Or something like that. Yes. I remember 2 years ago or so. Yes. And even today we will see one that says. And even today we will see one that said the same thing. On his child's wedding day. I don't know whether it was for the groom or for the bride. What a father did to this couple on their wedding day that they're supposed to remember for the rest of their lives. Yeah. See what Egosa is saying. Yeah. The threats and the causes are emotional abuse. If a child did nothing wrong, causes will not work. Exactly. And that's what karma is for. If you do bad in this world, no matter how long it will come to you. But if you do good in the world, no matter how long, good will come to you. Yeah. For the most part. It's just the thing about life. You know? So we have been so brainwashed to think of parental causes, parental this thing. If your parents don't sign an approval on something in your life, it's not going to be well with you. Something you know that you feel so strongly about. What about people that don't have parents? Exactly. They will tell you that, the orphans is a different case. God will take care of them. Please, who are you now to be mouthpiece of the God? You get what I mean? So when you challenge the status quo, when you question, okay, Daddy, explain this thing to me. Mommy, explain. Why are you asking me that question? At your age, are you supposed to be asking me any question? Don't ask me any question. I'm your father and I know what's best for you. Like you're asking your mother like that. Even when they gaslight you. You can't critically think. No, everything about your brain is to please them. Is to please them. So you will hear some people that will say, "Oh, I'm doing this career at least to be able to please my parents." I know. Then they mask it under obedience. All the sacrifices they've done for me, they're doing this. This is a gift. School fees. This is a gift to them. Back to them. Why should it be a gift to them? It's your own life. Or some parents have already envisioned how their children are supposed to be. Yes. So the moment you see your child deviating from what you've already imagined them to natural course of life, then it's like, oh my God, what's going on? This is not good. This is not good. For example, I've heard this thing whereby some parents who they are staunch Catholics, they will have a lot of kids. Let's say 10 children. And they say, from these 10 children, God, the first son will be dedicated to God. Even if he doesn't want to, the first daughter will be a reverend sister, because that's what I've already said to God. How dare you make a gamble with somebody's life? If you're promising your God anything, it should be from your own self. Sacrifice your own self. I want one at least. If one is a doctor, one is a lawyer, the next one is a priest, one is a reverend sister, one will be a pastor, one will be a nurse, one will be an engineer, one will be a pilot. Really choose the destiny, assign destiny of these people, assign work destiny. So they never ever. You find some kids who are now adults today.
they can never
Take
fulfill whatever it is that they are best at. You see some children, maybe they want to be actresses, maybe they want to be musicians. Not today, where you're seeing that people are becoming actresses and whatever, and parents are supporting them. No, it wasn't like this. It wasn't like that. You have to be one of three things. If you're not a pastor, a reverend sister, or a priest, you have to be a lawyer, a doctor, or an engineer, highest nurse, because those were the noble careers. If you're deviating from that norm, then it's like it's over for you.
Yes.
It's over for you.
Yeah. And so you are caged. You are the
Grinch of destiny.
Yes, Grinch of destiny.
You want to steal the destiny of your child. You don't know
best. Grinch of purpose. They are also Grinch of, but today we are assigning that title to those type of parents. Grinch of purpose. And it's called toxic love.
Yeah.
It is toxic positivity and toxic love. It doesn't do you any good. No. You will never, till you die, you will never be free. And as a person, and sometimes some people will think that, okay, I'll just get married and I'll leave the house, I'll be free.
No. They will come with you.
In this era of technology.
They will be in your marital luggage box.
I'm telling you.
The children too, because you are so conditioned and used to telling your parents
you keep going back
you keep on going back and you tell them every single thing. And these adults who have been victims of this situation now with their parents, because they were unable to live that fulfilled life, when they eventually have kids, they want to live the life that they wish they lived in their youth. They want to live it through their kids. So it goes on in the generational cycle. There's no end. There's no limit to it. And this goes across all cultures, but today we're focusing on the African culture and Nigerian fathers.
Yeah, exactly. So you guys just be allowing your brain to be expanding. Like, just be thinking out loud. You as an adult, there are some things you're also battling with at this time. Your parents, they may be alive or not be alive, but you are still afraid. Because their voice is in your head.
And because of the access.
And because of repetition over the years. Anyways, suggestion will come towards the end of the video. Okay? So just be thinking, why do many African parents have children in the first place? When they have, why do they have a lot of them? And
why is there a lot of control from the parents? And why are children who even are adults today? You can have people that are in their 50s, their parents are in their 80s, and they are still stuck.
Yes.
Why is it that they cannot break free from this madness? Why is it very, very hard to look at your parents in the square face and say, I don't agree with you what you're saying, and I don't have control over my life. You might mean well, but your meaning well does not mean that I have to succumb to whatever it is that you're saying to me today. And with that, we're going to be playing the next video of something that occurred at a Nigerian wedding.
Before then, let's hear people that have just joined us.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Jay. Longest time. How are you? Thank you, cool mama.
Thank you so much.
I don't say it's not today, for Dallas, Texas area. Unfortunately, most parents will squeeze out any form of individuality and self-expression from you because they think you are an extension of them.
Exactly.
Yep, I remember Jay always saying this.
Exactly.
And the cycle continues. Absolutely, you are right. Agosa says, unfortunately, children accept these bad behaviors from their parents in the name of culture, respect, and fear from causes. Exactly. Yeah, we could get what you mean there.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we're taking you to another triggering video. Some of you that are married, maybe this one will remind you of some things. Maybe
that happened in your wedding.
And some of you that are also planning your wedding, maybe you're also experiencing this hints of this thing. You know, where it's supposed to be a time of planning peace. Everybody wants to bring their
to seal your wedding. They will say the wedding is for the parents.
Why?
The wedding is for the mother. The wedding is for the father's friends. Everybody gathers together. Excuse me, if you want the wedding, go and have a what they call those things, like renewal of vows, and have your own wedding. Let's see what Miti is saying before start. Miti is saying, I think our parents will be in the best position to answer most of our questions. So,
because it's difficult to. Hey, that's why we're summoning those type of parents.
Yes, exactly, Timothy. And it's like they don't want to answer. When you ask questions, they hush you. It's like, why do you have the audacity to ask me this in the first place? Who are you? Are you not a human being? What makes you a parent? Anybody can become a parent.
Anybody.
Not
to get below or adopt.
And it does, yes, or adopt. I was going to say that.
Get below or you adopt.
Anybody can become a parent.
Simple. Now, are you a good parent, a quality parent?
Or bad?
It is either of them.
Are you a Grinch of destiny?
Grinch of purpose.
Parents will have you because they want to be able to compete with their classmates from secondary school.
Yes, so
they want to be able to compete. Oh, my daughter is a doctor. What is your daughter? My daughter is a this. What is your own? So that they can pair. Also, parents have already raised the marriage of their children right from the young wood. So you hear like, my best friend, my daughter is going to be the one that will marry your son or to and fro. Like,
or they'll be
what
saying
the
this
hell?
like, oh, Joshua, you are seeing Elizabeth now. I'm bringing you to Israel. Forget that you're 10 years old. This is your future wife.
Hey.
So you would think it's a joke. It's saved somewhere in Joshua's head. And it's saved somewhere in Elizabeth's head.
Yes, so Timothy, they will not come to the show, but we're going to do it regardless because we
That's what we're saying.
that you
People
people will
should
forward
share
it to them
it.
on WhatsApp. When you have a parent that wants to be messing with your brain, send them this video.
When you share it, because you want to extract something from those parents, just they say, you can't imagine all these guests with their bro.
What do
you think these guests are, bro? What are they saying?
Because they think, for the most part, they think that they are demigods who cannot do any wrong.
And let me shock you people. They will never change you. So the onus is on you, the victim, to decide what you want to do. Okay? The next video.
Okay. Let me add. This will be the next one. Like, let's see the final. No, not the final one. All right. Let's listen to the other one. We'll be muting towards the end of the video because it plays music and we don't want any strikes.
Copyrights.
All right.
Yeah, so we're meeting, but you can see the facial reaction of the bride and the groom, and even the bridal party. They are not happy.
How can how can a bride, two adults who just got married, be walking during their wedding, and then you stop the whole wedding and say they should stop playing worldly music and start playing Christian music?
Why?
You are in charge of this wedding.
Why? Some people will argue that, oh, maybe it's the father that sponsored the wedding, but there are also people who are financially responsible for their own wedding. But their parents still try to control all these things. Why? It's not your day. Father and mother of doom. It's not your day.
You embarrass.
It's not your day.
You embarrass your children before everybody that came. It's like you know all those things where they say, may our children, you hear parents say, may our children not bring disgrace to us.
No,
you are the captain and captain
of disgrace. Parental disgrace is advice. They will not announce it to parental disgrace. Why will you bring so much pain? Now you see how we've shown you video from childhood, which is the Ghana man that wanted to use his young daughter, that girl should be about 10 years old, for money ritual, into the Nigerian father and what he was
cutting, how he was cutting the hair, the
self-esteem of that child.
Hair that came right from our hair roots. Hair that is growing from your roots. African parents, they will tell you it's bad. Something that is growing from my head that I just decided to lock. How can that thing be bad? How can that thing show that I'm a bad person or the person is a member of this cult group or this or that? How is that even so?
So how, if you don't, the control, if it's not stopped, it can enter the marriage and even after. So yeah, so some people say, oh, maybe the parents, they finance the marriage. And there are some parents that will not finance, so, but because you're always used to saying yes and amen, that's it. They don't care about your joy. They don't care about your happiness. They don't care about your feelings. Look at that bride. Look at the group. They were not happy.
They were not happy at all.
They were not happy.
And this
is
what they will remember forever. And what the hell is worldly music?
Are we not in the world? What type of music are we supposed to be listening to?
What makes you think that your Christian music is better than the ones that the people were dancing to on their own wedding day again?
So these things that are happening, we will be putting the link shortly so that people can come and tell us your opinion on this matter, number one. And number two, what will be your suggestion or your advice to victims, people currently going through this situation, or if you've passed through this thing, how were you able to escape this toxic parental control? Toxic parental control.
See what Egosa is saying.
The Christian music, voila. There's a difference between secular music and immoral music. Secular music is not immoral. How weddings go come be like funeral? Thank you for English. Thank you for English. I never even thought about it, Egosa, but that makes sense. Worldly music is secular.
So I'll be anything that is not Christian music is worldly
It's
music.
worldly. Oh.
But today when they open their, if they come abroad now and hear people playing Fela, they will say Fela is our Nigerian. Was Fela not having? Was he not always? You know, it's to wear
The
shirts.
dancers,
And the
everything.
dancers checking their bum everywhere.
They will say
Is that what
they will
Christian
say-
music?
They will say it's different. He was a traditional person. You know. So I don't know. We have to. You know, me I have my own suggestion of solution to those of them that are victims because I fear no person. I fear no person. The words that can happen, you say, oh, this person, she too gets sharp mouth. Yes, I rather have sharp mouth than to be
a puppet for people that have already lived their lives.
I
And
rather
these parents, they live their life, just that
live
because
their
there's no social
life
media.
to the
So
fullest.
they were flying face for body
Going
school,
for
going
parties.
to go and wobble.
Many African parents will
Let us
obey.
do that.
Be doing
This is too much
Canadian
of
loud and all those things.
too much of
Hanging-
Hanging diary.
Hanging their
Many
pairs,
of them,
hanging them in the sky,
many of
doing
them,
otoyos in the
but
bedroom.
many of them come up belly.
Mhm.
But because there's no proof, we don't have proof like social media.
No, they became
They go
uh,
there.
pastors
They
and
who?
they
Today, your
Canadian
son,
loud. The seven is different.
today your son is high. He's on cloud 200.
They will say,
You are there for me that you are gashing him with Goya anointed oil. Forgetting it. No, remembering you are looking at your son is a spit image of you. After they sniff.
Had it been you told your son what you did in the past and the lessons you learned and why you should not follow that path, perhaps your son, even if that thing enter in spirit, you go say, this thing my father told me the story.
Yes.
I will not do it because at least, or if I really do it, like, I have to be sorry about this. No.
You go they form righteous. I see they give
Yeah.
that to you under the altar of God.
Some of you that are party freak, you are here taking your children to church, praying to the Most High that they will not go to club. Whoa!
So parents, they'll be saying, "Oh, this unholy dance, are you for dancing? You shaking bum bum. What the clothes they are
Our
wearing?
tradition, not be rapper at the time for which they shake.
Not be
everything.
bum bum. The women they shake for our African culture. What else? For the
They
most
just
part,
change the word to twerk in
shoulder,
this generation.
bum bum. You move your body, but no, they will. Oh God of mercy.
So we're just saying this. So there are so many parents that committed. They committed, but no camera.
Overly
They
committed.
committed.
And they
Mhm.
lied a lot to their parents. They lied. Some of them will deceive their parents that they are traveling to school or something. You know that they are traveling to another state to go and meet man or to go and meet woman.
Yes.
Many of them.
Many
They did
of
a lot
them.
of inequitable things.
Why is that some of the African parents, they like to project
Perfection.
perfection.
I see they know that nothing has stained
They
their
like to
whites.
nothing has
They are born with jig.
yes, and
Nothing.
they're so wicked. They are so wicked. Like why? You were hanging people in the sky, flying face. Some of
President Amaka, why you they cast yourself?
Amaka, they cast yourself.
Are you part of this parent?
Why you bringing party freak?
Why they?
Are you
part of this parent?
the difference is that it's good to be a party freak, but if you're a party freak and you don't want your children to be party freak, then that is where the wahala is.
Now, yes, that's where the wahala is. If you
Because
see yourself in your children,
not the
but if
fear.
it's not, but you want to be. After you don't enjoy this life,
It's
then
gonna be hard, and it's going to be worse for
Egosa, wow, Egosa. You people can read what Egosa said. We're not going to talk about. But catch yourself if you are a parent like this.
So some of you don't have communication. You are communicating only the things that are looking good, but the reality you are not communicating. We always say it's better that your children you be authentic and let them learn from you first.
Many people that are ruling Nigeria are they not African fathers?
Oh, the people that are stealing money up
If
and
they
down,
are like this
African
now
fathers.
in their old age, imagine what they did in their youth. Imagine what they did. And those of them that are still claiming to be youth up today. 70-year-old man.
It's a youth.
Liars. Wicked
So
looters.
if all these behaviors they are not curbed, it will continue like that, and it's going to be worse for the millennial and the Gen Z generation. You know why? Because some of you are doing parenting online too, posting. Oh, it's not bad to do that too. It's very, very good. But you also want to be honest to your child.
And very true to
your
yourself
child.
and your child.
To your child, right? Nobody's telling that come and put out your this here. No. But don't go and portray things online. And in the house, you are the opposite. You are the opposite to your children. When they grow up, they go point you to, they go refer, say, oh, that video that my parents put, oh, that's a lie. She had just finished wiping my ass after that. Just finished flogging me after that. And she decided to do this. So, why are parents, why are they Why do they project their insecurity and obsessed with control?
Why? Is it that it's like power used to leave them? Once they feel that they are losing power, it's like it used to leave them, so they go wild and they go.
And those of you that are adults, some of you are watching us, you are in that WhatsApp group.
Of your family group chat.
You know that they are dealing with you. They are dealing with you. Some of you, they are dealing with you hopelessly. Then at the end, they will say, God bless you. Shalom. God.
God.
You are looking very irresponsible today. What is that thing on your post, on your WhatsApp, your WhatsApp, what status?
Sometimes when parents will see pictures that their daughters or sons are put as their WhatsApp picture, they will say, this post does not look godly. Like, please take it down if you want me to be happy with you.
The pastor,
who cares about your happiness?
The pastor just told me that they just saw what you post, what you shared on your your WhatsApp,
on your status,
and it's not good.
It's not a good reflection of our home. This is not how we've raised you. Who
cares
about your feelings? And let me tell you, many of your parents don't even care about your feelings.
No,
it's on their own look.
They don't care. Let me the others one that they now some of you are surprised that your parents are saying I love you.
It's because
it's trending, so that they can feel good about themselves among their peers. I'm just telling you the truth. So when they say, "Oh, I love my son so much. I really appreciate my son. I love him very much." Now lie. It's so that they can also be woke.
Are their actions reflecting in that loving that they are showing you? The one way you see the bathroom, that the one way you cut in the head. Because it's like if the hair that grows on your head, how can you do that kind of thing? Why
would you dehumanize your son? The same thing that in the America, we don't want to bring the issue of racism, but it's also used as profiling. The so-called Yahoo boys or whatever you are talking about, or Boko Haram, you are talking about Nigeria, they look pristine and clean. They wear agbada, they cut their hair, trim, because it's part of their Yahoo business to look good.
Yeah.
You say your child that has dreadlocks
or beards.
They
will say they look like Boko Haram. They say they look like Boko Haram because they are carrying beard. People that are coming out of kidnappers' dens, they're not saying that some of these Boko Haram, they're like 16, 17, some of them that narrate their kidnapping.
Young people
that have good hair, they are speaking their language, they don't have beard, anything. You profile your child. Even before the world profiles your child, you've already profiled your child.
Yeah.
You say because they have piercings, then they are immoral. Because they have tattoo, then they are immoral. Do you know the history of tattoo?
They don't.
You people that are some of you that are parents,
your tattoo
that you will put inflict pain on a child. You don't draw nonsense and iniquity for the pikin face without the consent of the child. You think that one there's no issue with it.
That no foundation can even use to cover.
Children today they will be trying to use. They're looking for surgical means or foundation to be able to
cover those things.
Their face. You also have some stupid parents that they will be discriminating their children. Sometimes they will have maybe the firstborn is the darkest of them all, and the secondborn is lighter than the firstborn. You will be looking for a way to be bleaching your child.
This one happened real life. Somebody posted on Twitter.
Bleaching your child so that they will become lighter because you want your children to have the same color.
Yeah, one lady posted on Twitter that she's looking for who will provide her with information on how she can make this her child that is dark to be lighter.
Some people want to even lighten from the womb.
Bleaching their womb.
They will be taking teeth into their body.
Yeah, disguising as that. According to Jason, none of our parents have passed. Apparently, all of them from admission.
And they were all labor prefects or senior prefects in school. All of them. Liars.
So my thing is, and they don't care. My thing is that, so why are you the victim caring about them?
Why can't you break free?
I want to know why people cannot break free from this parental control, whether you are living with them or you are far away from them. Why can't you break free from them? At least the first start is mentally. What are you afraid of? Are you afraid that that their love will not sustain, that you will not get love from them? Or blessings.
You are afraid of trying new things or having a mind of your own. Like Jane was saying, which we also say, that they've already stripped you of your individuality.
Yeah.
So you think you cannot function in a society at all without approval from these people. Just
imagine it's your life, because even when you are in the office and there's team meeting for a project and you have so much, people can even see in the office that based on your work of delivery, you have a lot to give. You have a lot to deliver. You are so intelligent. You are so good at what to do at work, but when it's time and they ask for your inputs, you will shy away from
your
it.
shell.
You are so afraid to contribute because you have always been hushed. Some of you that are adults, you are currently going through this thing. It's also affects the fact that you are in friendship circles, and you know that this friendship circles is not really serving you.
For you.
But you are inside because it's more like trauma bonding.
Or sometimes these people are also family friends. So it's like if something happens to that friendship and then
Yes.
then your parents will blame you for the long years that you have been family friends.
Oh, especially those of you that they used to link up to become future spouse.
Yeah.
Then you break up with the person, or you say you are not compatible with this person. Then your parents start blaming you for ruining their friendship that they've had for many years. For many years, because you chose your happiness. You know. Dr. Timothy,
greetings.
Hello, my girls. How are you?
We're good. How are you doing?
Hello. Yes, I sound a bit tired. Yeah, I've been doing some paperwork since morning.
Oh my God.
How are you, my dearest? Yeah, so I kind of waited. I saw that people were not really coming on, so I said, let me come on. Probably I could,
As a good parent.
I could trigger other people to come into the.
You are a good parent. That's why you call them. You are a good parent. You are a good parent.
The hooligans cannot call you
now. You are a very good parent. We know you. At least naturally, we know that you are not a good. You are a quality parent.
Oh, my dear.
People that are good, all of them are not calling in.
My dear, the thing no easy. No easy. Yeah. So I just want to throw it back a bit. You see, sometimes when I just listen to you guys talk, I tried to think about what could be the origin. Where did all this idea of the way Black people, and I think.
Oh my God! Wicked parents. You should bring back our Dr. Timothy.
Bring back Dr. Timothy.
Oh, you have another
In
person.
the meantime, while Dr. Timothy is getting ready, we'll add the next person.
Yes, and let's read what Amaka said first.
Amaka said, even until date, I might disagree with my mom on the things she wants me to do, but before you know it, I will do the exact thing she asked me subconsciously. It happened to all of us, yes. Amaka. You are not alone.
You're not alone. You're not alone.
You are not alone in this,
You're not
President.
alone, my dear.
You are not alone in this.
Ladies, sorry, yeah, I think I mistakenly pressed on something. Yeah, threw me out. Sorry, yeah.
I think we'll add you after Dr. Timothy. Okay, we'll see you behind. Okay.
Yes.
Dr. Timothy.
Yeah. Or probably if the person wants to speak first, that's all right. But I just wanted to, reflect on some things.
Yeah, you should. Because
you were in first. So
yeah. So it's a bit deeper than what we're saying here. It starts with what's our basic mindset. What was our culture back in the days? What makes us up as Africans? You see, So because if you don't try to understand that, then it will almost just be like a mystery trying to see why did our parents behave the way they did. So if you go back, in Africa, it's always been hierarchical. We've got the king, you've got the subjects, you've got the chiefs. It's just it's almost like a step ladder thingy. So now it trickles down to the home where you have the father who's the head of the house, the mom who's like the subject to the father, and then you have the children. So unfortunately, it's the last child that is usually at the end of this ladder. It's almost like the footstool. So that's just what has been over the past years, and it seems as though this thing is not going off as fast as we want. If you go back to when civilization came, I think it was like 1800s when we actually had this British colonization and all that. And they brought in their culture, and we started seeing how things differently. And then it's been, let's say how many years, it's not been up to 300 years or probably thereabout. So it's still a bit, so that means how many generations, let's say every generation would be like maybe like 90 years, people that lived around 90 years, and then you had their children that would live maybe 45 years after they died. So let's say probably like 6 or 7, so it's still going to be present. If you ask me, you still find trickles of that oppression, though they see it as respect, but it's actually oppression. From that, those yesteryears trickling down, and that also transcends the fact that even if I'm older than you, or I know everything I know, you don't know, or I always would know much better than you would always know. So that thing has been there. Yeah. So because I also the Yoruba girl in me would make me feel some type of way to totally demonize my parents. Do you understand? So it's part of that mentality, that brainwashing, you see. Yeah, despite the fact that I know, I think you should know a bit of my story, my father and all that. Yeah. So yeah, I don't, even my mom, we don't have great, we don't have great relations. Yeah. So I would rather shy away from, talking so much about them and just try to shy and just talk about how to go forward, how to be a better parent to my own children. Yeah. So I think we're who we are, we're trying to change things, but sometimes we can never understand why they were like that fully. So I think I would have preferred if you had someone of the old school thingy to come here, to come and probably be enlighten us and say what happened. But even if you listen to some of them, what they went through in the hands of their parents, actually, if you weigh it, was actually worse than what we went through in their own hands. So it's almost like things get better.
Not all of them.
They had the choice.
They had
to do
choice.
different. The same way
Just
you are
the choice.
chosen that. What was that pattern in your
you saw that you did not like.
You are not carrying it
forward
to your next
so
generation.
There's no excuse. I don't need the old generation to come.
I think we've given them a lot of
leverage. Remember how we talked about communication. Now it's
exactly.
I'm picking on some of your words.
They are human beings, so they're supposed to make
first of all, they are human beings. They
didn't do all evil.
But we also know that elders don't listen. They don't listen. Many African elders do not listen. They don't.
They find out that you're younger than them.
They don't think that they are accountable to anybody that they are older than,
or that they have more money than,
That's number
exactly. Two. So another probably this money thing. Yeah.
Another thing is, sorry to cut you. Another thing is that even when you want to have just that conversation, they see it as insulting them. Exactly. So like what you use the word here, like the Yoruba girl in me will not want to demonize. No, you are not demonizing. You are attacking the issue. I love you, daddy, but this thing you did, this is how it affected me. Sometimes some people will not be able to talk because they try to communicate with their parents.
And your parents have gaslighted
them, hush them.
It's like how can everything that you do as a child be wrong?
So people like you, Dr. Timothy, you decide on your own that, okay, I will do different with my child. Instead of me trying to resolve this, trying to find out why. It's a burning question. Why do you do this?
Sometimes you will never get the answer. That's the sad part of this.
You console yourself, say, me, I'm a mother of boys. I will do different. Myself and my spouse, we will do different for our children. It will not be like perfection. It's not perfection, but we will not continue. Yes, we will not continue carrying the trauma.
And sometimes unconsciously, you might be doing the same thing that your parent did to you, but when you discover that, I'm doing this, how do you react?
Yes.
Do you check yourself? Do you want to apologize to children? You go for therapy with your children
to learn how to
do you also explain to your children what you've also gone through? Like, it's like, it's not like, how they will just hush somebody up. It's like, why you think like this? Why are you doing this? There was a video that we're reading. Oh, that would be for me. Let me not talk about it.
All right, yeah. I hear what you guys say. Let me play the devil's advocate a little bit.
Okay.
Now you look at things holistically, right? Sorry, I'm bringing a more, much deeper concept.
Sorry, because that's how you arouse us.
That's how I view things. Yeah, if you look at things much more holistically here, to see that, even in the West, if you hear histories of things that happened yesteryears, and you just be like, wow, so these people have actually gone a long way, before they got to this stage. Now, what I'm saying is that if we say, I know what they've done. Actually, a lot of we can go on and on about what happened. Would never finish today. Yeah, I'm just trying to see how we can understand where they came from and try to understand why they made all these obvious mistakes, and see. Well, is there a reason why they would have not done any better than what they did?
Mhm.
Or
Could there
why
be a
now that they know
possibility in
better,
that?
why are they not choosing to do better? I don't like
Exactly.
going to
Now, at that point, yeah, I get what you say. I hear
Mm.
you. Now I'm just looking at it futuristically, right?
Mhm.
What about our children? Probably when they grow, the next generation, wouldn't they still see some of us, you and I, also as probably being high-handed in some things, and then
Mhm.
probably they might be having this forum in the
Mhm.
next probably 50 years. You see,
Mhm.
so yeah, so that I'm just trying to see that how human minds evolve, right,
Mhm.
from one generation to another. There
Mhm.
would definitely be a modification of thinking,
Mhm.
or in what you do clearly, and it will be like evident to every other person, but at that point in time, that was the best thing they thought they could do. So I'm just saying that I know, we all know, we could go on and on to say yes, all the evil things they did, yes, but I'm just trying to think that, okay, what could there be? I'm just thinking
What
outside the
about the
box
ones
here.
that are doing it now? Because I don't expect change from the people of the past.
Yeah.
I'm talking about it's currently ongoing. I'm talking about
Yeah.
the fact that it's
And
currently ongoing, and some of them know better.
And you know the difference between you and, let's say, your parents now. If your children are feeling that way,
Can they come
able
and
to
talk
to
you about it?
Of course, they clearly
That is the missing
Missing
puzzle.
puzzle.
Is that they can have
Yeah.
conversations with you about it. So
Exactly.
nobody's expecting anybody to be perfect parents.
Mhm. No.
We've never been parents before, but we've been
Yeah.
I'm not a
children of
perfect
people.
child.
We are not-
Ladies, let me hold you off. Do you know that if we had people of that age to
Yeah.
start preaching about these things, to start telling their friends to say this kind of thinking is wrong, do you think there will be more change? But the
There will be
problem
more
is that
change, and you know why we
we've not
agree
even
with
had
that.
many of them, trying to push this narrative.
Very true.
Competing
You know
among
why we
themselves.
agree with that, Dr. Timothy? Because we've had people that are not our parents, but they've apologized to us on what their generation have done,
Nigeria.
or are still doing. This is a Nigerian Yoruba parents.
Yoruba parents, yes.
We are not freaking Yorubas. We are Orobo girls.
They have.
But what I'm saying is that trying to
Sorry
push
for
that
what my
across
generation has
them.
done to your
That's
generation.
exactly what the lady said. Yeah. And we're shocked.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah, of course.
And-
There are a couple of them that actually are changing. You see, I've got like a big auntie who's really, she wants to do better. She talks about what they used to do back then, and she'd be like, oh, she couldn't even believe how he was totally uncalled for. Yeah, but I think what we need to do, right? Sorry, because I try to look more about the origin and try to get a solution. I think if we can reach out to women of that, or parents, human persons of that age group, so if they kind of take the mantra to speak more about these things and let their fellow millennials, not millennials, like their age mates, I don't know what they call people that were born in 40s and 50s, they can let them know to see that these things are not right. We can't continue doing like this. I think they'll listen more. You know what, you and Ella,
Why can't you listen to your? Why can't you just have a conversation with the child? Why can't the parents have a conversation with the child? That's where I'm after now. I'm not looking to change their mindset or whatever. Why can't they have that conversation with the child if it's not pride?
Even the so-called ones that say that they listen to their children, you still would see there's a few elements of that thing. Oh, I'm older than you. I know better than all of you. Yeah, they still have it. And I just laugh. Even you that you're saying that you're much better. You see, so yeah, about the having conversation with children, I just think that there's a whole lot of, I don't know what they went through back in the days. Yeah, because I don't. So many of our parents have been damaged mentally that they just transferred all that to children. They don't allow us to reason. We don't have reflective thinking. If you say typical Nigerian, right, and then we cannot engage in very cerebral discussions. Yeah, our way of thinking is not flexible enough to accommodate criticisms, to accommodate different angles of things. You can see if you're talking to a typical Nigerian and then you say, oh, we've got two items here, two issues, right? And I say, oh, issue one is this. Yeah, you're right. While I agree with a subset of issue one, I ever think that the other subset is not right. However, in issue 2 is it they'll be like, oh, for you to have said, oh, a subset of issue 1 was not right. Typical Nigeria, but oh, then you're saying it's wrong. Oh, we
you
don't
have a
know how
personal
to
problem
think.
with
Yeah. So, and I think it stemmed from that hush thing. That
That's what we're saying.
that thing we went through
A lot of
as
people's
children.
lives.
Yes. So if you see, and even outside in diaspora, when you are at your place of work, and then people are talking, you rarely hear Nigerians converse in a way, engage in those meaningful discussions,
And they are very
not just
intelligent.
about the
Even in
job.
schools
Yeah,
and everything.
in schools during tutorials, they will
exactly.
talk.
Yeah,
talk.
and
they know
when
it.
you're
Like they know they're so intelligent.
Exactly. Do you guys remember, verbal aptitude and quantitative aptitude? Well, my primary school, we did it. But you can see that they've removed in the curriculum. It's not part of Nigerian curriculum. And those things develop a certain part of your brain. And we think that because we know mathematics or plus and minus and all that's education. No. Do you understand? Develops that part of the brain where you can think outside the box, and then you can communicate with people and say, okay, yeah, we can agree to disagree. But if you see the typical Nigerian, we are difficult to make. You can see, both of us didn't agree in all what we've said today. Yeah, I've said some things that you guys say, oh no, doctors, and ability to calm down, to be able to take that in and say, oh yeah, that could we lack it. And it's a major thing that I try to tell most of us, at least we came from those kind of parents, to say that we need to work on ourselves too, because just a few of those things actually you can still see a few traces in that. And if someone says something, say, oh, that person doesn't like me, or that person she thinks she knows too much. No, do you understand? Yeah, and then we can't agree to, okay, yeah, it might be true. You might think wrongly, or you might not get the whole picture about something, and someone else is saying, oh, this, the ability to say, oh yes, oh that makes sense too, oh that it could be possible. Yeah, there are variables, but even reflective thinking is zero. And let me just ladies say, even in our medical field, yeah, I know I talk about my profession a lot. I'm sorry.
We love it.
After you,
we love it.
Yeah. So even the way we were taught, the way we trained to see patients, to speak to our seniors, everything is so different.
Yes.
And then when you transcend and when you come to diaspora, you have to learn how to speak to staff, to work in teams, to communicate with patients, to understand and respect human beings. Yeah. And then if a cleaner just comes and says, oh, you shouldn't have put that thing there, I need the ability to say, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't know, and then to not beef that and say, she said, no, you understand?
Yeah.
So I think that we were product of being oppressed, and that thing also has affected a lot of younger people.
Yes.
That it's so difficult. Yeah, anything thinking outside the box, we get tired. The only things we are very happy about is talking about sex, anything around sex.
Yeah.
Anything about money, very vain talk. But you see, you wouldn't. Yeah, it's true. And then you guys were saying, oh, you've not gone beyond 2000. I was just laughing. Most Africans, thing that they like, they talk those other things. Yeah, those kind things that should make only 20% of your total communication. Yeah, it shouldn't be like 80%. Yeah, we can catch cruise, but that shouldn't make the whole of our existence. You see, we should have programs where we can talk in depth, can be challenged mentally and talk about how to push things forward, how to be better humans, how to think better, you see. But you see, we don't really. I know sometimes when I look at the black race, I don't know. I just well, I'm sure things.
The problem everywhere, just that with the narrow focus. I say, all right, we are about to watch people's trauma, the same thing we're experiencing. You will be shocked. Anyways, let's allow you.
Let me talk about the cases. The first one, that one we won't use in Peking do something like, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that one. I was so scared when you guys were showing that video. Right, like, but I just want to comment that man was a very good person. Yeah, no, he's a good person. What he did was very good, like noble for him to have
called the police.
Yeah, that was very noble of him. And But it's sad because I can't imagine what will be left of that family
And the
mentally.
girl too, mentally, how she would
Yeah, those
the rest of
girls.
her life.
Yeah, what would they? Yeah.
If the father can lie to her, somebody she looks up to as a protector can lie to her.
I
Can
mean,
take her.
wow,
They go
plenty.
to yes, as Abraham when not the Bible. Take her to go and sacrifice.
Oh,
Say you're lying to go and buy dress. Anybody that will tell that girl now, let's go out for shopping. The girl will never, the trauma will be there.
can't. Oh well, I really wish somehow the girls would get some psychological support,
Yeah, so
counseling
please.
and all that. Yeah. For the second one, that
One
one
day
resonates a lot. That one resonates with me because
you
when I
not
was growing
there.
up, oh my gosh, my mom
Yes,
would
they did.
not.
You know they also did in secondary school to some people.
Yes.
So that thing was quite common back in the day. If you, I wasn't allowed to retouch my hair until I got to uni. Do you know that? The only thing I could do was this. I could like use this hot comb, that hot stuff. Yeah, I would
Yeah.
use the straighten so it would look like it's pumped. And then when it gets wet under the rain,
You
everything
must
will
have been
swell
so
up.
embarrassed when you were a teenager. Oh my god.
Can I ask Timmy a question because
Yes,
Right.
he's a doctor. So how do you deal with African teenagers that come to your practice or
That
seeking
man,
for?
you didn't even give your own contribution.
You have to
first.
give your contribution first.
Oh,
When you ask
I because I she was about to. I didn't know she was gonna stay on there. Oh, my contribution to.
Oh.
Sorry.
Anyways,
Okay.
continue, Jerry.
Okay,
Oh,
continue.
okay. I was just I think
Go
like,
ahead.
I've said here before that most Africans live. We all need therapy in some shape or form.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, therapy in terms of being exposed to. I mean, growing up in the military era first, and the culture part.
Oh
Growing up
my gosh.
in that environment, the military. Growing like when I first got to America, I thought when you see a police officer, you just bow down like that's your god. You dare not. How dare you? Like I was in college with
Then you
my
look at them in
friends.
the eye.
No, I was in college with my friends. We were driving to clinicals in a remote area, and we got stopped by a sheriff. And my friend just said, "You have no right to stop us." And I'm like, they will kill us. He said, "No, this is America." I'm like, this boy wants to kill me in the middle of the road. Hey. Sorry, sir. I was doing the Nigerian, I was not used to. It's like, no, okay, you have rights. You have rights. This is America. Okay, this boy, what do you mean right? Back then, there was no body camera back then. That was like a long time. So like those kind of upbringing, and also parents, I think it comes from fear of the unknown. When the parents discipline you, they
know that they cannot control.
They like it's like this thing is not right for me to do, but this is the way my parents raised me, and it worked. So I'm going to stick to that routine. And one thing I have 3 boys, by the way, triplets, by the way. They're 6 years old. And what me and my wife figured out is anytime they do something wrong and we want to discipline them, we don't always come up with the solutions. We make them feel like they're the ones coming up with the answer. So that confidence level is just off the roof. Like, so when we go to African fun, like these boys are just like, they're very like upstanding, not too cocky, but they know where they are.
They're confident.
Like, yeah, but you know how Africans will raise you and they say, "Oh, that boy is too
proud. He's proud.
You know many times you know many times they don't tell me that. Your mouth is too sharp.
Bring yourself down.
But behind the scenes, those kind of kids, they love them, but they won't say it publicly.
Yeah.
They respect those kids. Like for anything that will happen, they say, "Okay, you go ahead and lead the other kids." They will respect them, but they won't say it be in public. Yeah. So I think that we should also focus on confidence building in kids. Confidence, you have to build that confidence. You cannot have your kids going to school in America, and because they will get bullied, they will get thrashed. If anybody sense those kind of weakness in kids, they will trash them. And the African going to high school in America, I could tell you, I had to, I got it was tough. It was tough. And I had to figure it. I'm like, when I have my own kids, I'm gonna just make amends and just fill up that spot for my own kids. So I think it's part of building confidence. But I also think that culture and religion also reinforces those kind of beliefs in people. Because if I, as a child, run to the pastor and say my parents is doing this and it's not good, what do you get? they're your parents. God send them. Listen to your. I'm like, Pastor. There was time Pastor said, listen to your parents so you can live long. But I said, Pastor, no. But the Bible it says that parents don't suffer your children to anger.
Did you ever ask your
why you give me that part? He said, no, that is not
pastor?
relevant. The what now?
Did you ever ask? Did you ever ask your pastor? Or did anyone you know ask your pastor about what? Okay, you say I should honor my parents and all those in the part that says don't provoke the children to anger, and the part that Jesus Christ stood up for is right before the mother. Why are you looking for me since I've been away for
right? When you're young, like I was very rebellious in the church. I would always ask questions like, you said Adam and Eve were the two. Who did they marry? Who did this? Like we like say that. Oh, you girls don't have sex before marriage. I said, Madam, were you a virgin before you married? I was asking my Sunday school teacher that. I'm like, were you a virgin? She just beat me in that church and said, who are you to be asking? So my mom was a dickhead. So like your boy, that I was demon possessed. Like I had some demons in me because I was asking questions about church. I'm like, but Pastor, I saw you kissing sister something. I would say things in public, but they kind of suppressed that in me. Like they suppressed it, So I kind of became docile. Once I came to America, and that kind of came out after, final year of high school. The real stuff came out again. The confidence kind of came back. So I think that we should also, because dwelling on the problems, we know what it is. So I think it's just the solutions. And if you live in the West, help out. Because you see, when your kids go to Nigeria, you see the difference. The kids, when they talk, who has the confidence, who doesn't. You will know. That's just the difference there. And I think that's what people back home should, focus on. But
some people are abroad, they are doing the thing.
Yeah, but the child. No, listen. If you were in Nigeria and that was done, you can say, well, if that child goes to school, then meeting other kids with similar mindset will favor them in some kind of way. But if you go to in America where you're suppressed and everybody there has confidence off the roof, then your kids is left to be society outcast. It's going to affect them. So you don't want to put them in that kind of position. You don't want to do that. So you want to put them in a position where, but also in medical practice, because that was what I was trying to say earlier.
Yeah,
I know
to Dr. Timothy.
Because you have teenagers that come seeking birth controls and they're having sex, and because I love my pastor's wife. I love the way she speaks about. She's a pediatrician, so she's very open. One day she had a sermon in church and she said, I'm not kidding you, literally verbally. She said, praise God. I hate to break it to you parents, your kids are fucking. Get used to it. You're like, oh my God, can you say this?
That man allows to absorb that first.
Yeah, no. Sorry to use the F word.
Allows to absorb what the pastor said.
No, she's because that is her practice. She's like, don't pretend like don't wait until they get pregnant and they bring them to us for solutions. Let's help them before they get to that point. So your sweet Rose, she's having sex. It's okay. Just let's have fun with you. Yeah, and I know God is good all the time, but she's very practical with kind of thing. But how do you deal with those kind of situations in your practice, David?
Yeah. So here, because I'm in England.
Oh.
So here, So even that's why you have to write the examination council courses and the exam, so you're sure about what's obtainable, and it tends to just rebrand your mind and your outlook. Now, the age of consent is 16. Yeah. And for contraception, you can go below 13, just up to 13. As far as the child understands, there's something we call Gilly competence under Fraser guidelines. So you want to be sure that that child understands what she wants to do, like what's contraception, what has she read about it, what does she know about it. And also you want to know about who is the partner. Now there are a few rules about the partner. If they're within the same age range, not more than within 2 years and all that, and the person is not up to 18 or above, the person is not in a position of trust, probably the pastor or maybe school teacher, or just someone in a place of trust. So once all those things are met, and then there's nothing at risk, you've asked about how do you feel? How do you feel in the relationship? Do you think your partner is treating you right and all that? And if she's fine with that, then you also want to ask her about the risks, because everything has risks. Do you know about the risks of contraception? And then you explain, and then you offer. So here we already know that you have to offer it to them. So even when you have Africans, I'm always very happy. I'm
Yeah,
always
but
very happy
how
when
do let me get specific. Let me get a little specific,
yeah.
because everything you said I understand is similar here. But parents, there's a huge discrepancy between what they think their child is and what the child is really like into. Like
They accept it.
yeah,
They accept it.
it's very hard for the African parents here to understand. Like I had a boy that she said that he said that he was feeling that he was in the wrong body, but he was scared to come out to his he was 13 years old to come out
Yes.
to his parents. They were like
Yeah.
they were very religious people.
Yeah, gender
So,
dysphoria. Yeah.
so those kind of things where there's a huge discrepancy of what the kids are into, and the parents are finding it very hard to accept.
Yeah. So for those ones, yes.
Won't they
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
do counseling as well?
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I wanted to say. There's something called family counseling. Yeah. So it's like the parents also have to be involved, because sometimes we talk about, even with my Asian friends and all that, we just say, one thing I'm still finding it difficult to process is about how will a child come and say, oh, I want to be someone of another gender. It's still it's something in process. So you just have to train your mind. So those kind of parents, you take them to counseling. There was this Asian family, Muslim Asian. The daughter also wanted to change, so it was a big deal. And the father was even a consultant in the hospital. So it was something difficult for him. He had to go back home, came back, and then he also had counseling. So the whole family had counseling, and they were able to work through that. So I know it's quite challenging, but yeah, African parents have been able to do it. I actually know of one. I see them, and I know the girl used to be boy, and change to a girl. The other thing is that I wouldn't lie to you, and that's what I was trying to explain to Common Sense Sisters sometimes. The way your brain is made up, like your form, how it was formed over time, sometimes it's difficult. Because when I came here, you can imagine a whole lot of teenagers with eating disorders. I never saw that in Nigeria. I would say, one chop like
or then at that time in
No,
Nigeria,
tell me. Do you know why it's bad? Do you know? Because when I was in college, my side job was photography, and all these high schoolers trying to get into modeling, and they required them that they come with an album.
Okay.
So they will. I know what you're talking about. They will go to. I mean, they will like put their hand in their mouth just to put the food. I mean, it's terrible. That bulimia.
Yeah, bulimia. Now for bulimia,
bulimia.
I can still relate with bulimia, because then you can actually eat, you feel full, and then you just vomiting. Yeah, but it's the anorexia, and then there was a time on the ward in pediatrics. There was a time on the ward then when I was in the hospital, like 75% of the patients, and the real very sick ones, didn't have bed. There were no bed spaces. All these teenagers just feel, I just I couldn't understand it. Like at some point, a friend of mine told me, like, if my pee girl go Lagos, just go spend 1 year, may go see problems of. And you know what? Even the white people here also say that. I've engaged in discussion with some of them, just ask me, like, tell me, well, back in Africa, did you used to see these things? They really wanted to know, because, all these things about
the opposite was in
Africa,
Africa, which was obesity at the time, but we disguised it as enjoyment. But as more education started coming up, yes, let's say that's it.
Yeah,
it's culture based. If you are in a culture where they promote,
they will say it's a sign of good living.
forget that thing.
It's true. They said it. Because I know about this because I studied nutrition and food science in University of Ghana. So I knew that when you see all those orobo, skibo, orobo, big belly, big gash, big. Why? I also, as a child growing up, I didn't like eating. They used to tell me that you have to eat, so you have to. But I don't like eating now. It's still in me. I don't like eating things that I don't see them as beautiful stuff and in small quantity, right? But did that make me anorexic? No, but vitamins, my mother pumped me with vitamins in addition to trying to complement with the food. But they should not outrightly say you have to be big. But I know how people were growing up and they felt so insecure about being slim, even though they ate a lot, compared to those that were already horrible. So
Exactly.
the cultural aspect of it.
Yeah, people have a lot of issues with their thyroid as well. Thyroid
Yes,
issues.
thyroid disease.
So they don't
Yes,
deal with
continue.
like if they come in, like, let's say you want to lose weight now, and they say, "Oh, I've been working out for 6-7 months. It's not working." Like, have you checked your thyroid lately? Any blood work? So there's more.
I'll say no. Nigeria, it wasn't that bad in Nigeria. Yeah, we'd always still check thyroid. That was part of the basic things that you'd always do. I think it goes more than that. It's just like, I don't want to go on the men, but the men would always say, "Oh, it always has big yash things and all that."
No. Let me clarify. Let me clarify that.
Go back because we're going out of
No.
something.
I think we're
No, let me clarify. Like,
I think
you can lose weight, but don't lose the weight in the right.
My thing is we're
I
debating
think
out of the
we've
topic.
gone away from
Oh,
it.
sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
Let's
Circle
circle
back
back.
to the
Because
trauma that we're talking about.
the issues are the things.
Okay.
The things were, and I really enjoyed the conversation with the
Yes.
questions and back and forth. But as we're seeing, like more people are typing in the comment section, they're typing things that are like,
Okay,
this is what we're
deviating to-
experiencing.
Right.
It happened back in the days, but it's still going on.
Oh, it's bad. No.
Well,
The abortion thing it trust me. I've seen people
going on.
with
Why?
anger. That just anger they use it for abortion in Nigeria now.
Yeah,
Yes.
we heard
Yeah,
about
it's terrible because they're scared of going to the clinic at 16 or 15.
Yes.
So they will call the local nurse that has a pharmacy somewhere,
Come and do something.
yeah, to do stuff for them. So it's
Why?
terrible.
Why
So-
is it?
Huh?
Okay, finish. When you finish, I'll
No,
ask.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, when you finish, I'll
When you
ask my
finish,
question.
you ask me.
No, I'm just saying that because fear of opening up that space where you can have kids coming. I'm not saying 10 or 9, but I'm just saying that teenagers coming and have access. Even having counselors in secondary schools to talk to.
Mhm.
You open up to them. Next thing you see your parents in the office.
No confidentiality.
Yeah, there's no laws. There's no HIPAA laws in Nigeria to protect you from those kind of to buffer that. We don't have those kind of things that need to be put in place for the fear of promiscuity or whatever. I mean, they're already having sex anyways. Just make it safer, and more, in a more safer environment to have those kind of things. So we need to have those kind of laws in Nigeria. But Nigeria is a very religious society, so it's a very difficult task to.
Apart from the laws, we're talking at the family level now, because sometimes I don't care about the laws because they don't implement them. Why is it that it's difficult for some parents, whether parents that are in their 50s now, 40s now, or 30s now that are currently parents, why is it difficult for them to have conversations with their children as they are going through different developmental stages?
I think the
Why are they
second
shamed?
life show we also shed more light on why we keep asking
These
this
questions.
question.
Because now I understand everything that you and Dr. Timothy has been saying, and I'm so thankful that both of you called into the live show.
From the angle of millennial parents or like modern day parents or whatever.
Really, 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 really thank you. One parent from America, another
from
parent
the
from the UK. We are so thankful that both of you called in with your different perspective and expertise and experiences. My own is, I cannot continue excusing bad behavior. Especially when there's access to information, in which some of them will choose to promote toxic information via WhatsApp. You also, some of you are, and instead of some of you to call this information that they are spreading as bad, I give you an example. Personal example. Yes, I had an auntie that be sending me WhatsApp information forwarding about COVID. Yes, and I knew that it was wrong information. And I replied to the message. I said, this thing you are spreading is false information. Please don't continue spreading this information. I don't even remember if I went ahead to share the WHO. The WHO, they had an article, a list of false information on COVID and the right information to share. I think I shared it with her. That was it. And I think she said thank you. But since then, she stopped, communicating. What's it concern me? Pass my information. No, that kind of person can go and tell my parents and say, "Oh, Yo-Yo is very rude. It's very It's okay." But even if you want to be promoting the first rumor, when you see my name, you will know that you will not click it on WhatsApp. You get that's an example I'm saying. Why is that adult children, young adults now, or who know that the information that is being spread is harmful?
Who know that what their parents are doing is
wrong?
Why is it that we cannot have conversations with them?
Yes.
And why do we always excuse them? Because you hear people want to use their words against them. It's like, I'm older than you and wiser than you. If you're older than me and wiser than me, why are you acting daft?
Yes.
Why are you acting this way? And why am I supposed to excuse your behavior?
I cannot keep saying they did not know better, but for some people in their own generation did better, even without knowing any better. They just had common sense.
Ladies, can I say that for even us to talk to our parents that way, to engage them in meaningful conversations, we also have to learn how to communicate. Do you think even people in our generation know how to communicate? Do you understand? So it almost goes vice versa, because you find someone trying to talk to the parents about something, and then the way they are even talking doesn't even, just things will just go left, and they say, "Okay, leave me alone. I'm older than your mom, and everything just goes haywire. So I think that even people of our generation lack basic skills in communication. So I think until then, before we can now say, "Oh, let's challenge this parent and talk to them and say, why would you send me these messages? They're false. So, and why would you feel a type of way? Because I'm trying to correct you, So, but it's the way we also say we have to have those skills. But even we don't have it.
You think people have not tried to calm down and tell their parent that have you ever been gaslighted before?
Yeah, of course they have. Oh no, they gaslighted a lot.
Gaslighting. You were communication.
You'll be thinking that you're going crazy. Everyone's about to go to the next live show. I think
it's nice that they are coming. They are coming.
Wow. All people will be here for the next live show. Because
the next live show, you will see that when you don't check the parents at this level, what they can do to destroy the generation in which they procreate.
If Dr. Timothy said for the next live show, you understand why we are not.
Yeah, I totally understand. I just wanted to say something about the WhatsApp thing, right? And I think we should all tell our parents, about forwarding messages. There was something that happened here in England. All these elderly women that will come and do umgo, right? So you remember there was this
association.
You remember there was this video, this evil video of a man, and a man that wore this shirt that had a girl, put her mouth on his
something. I know this video.
Thank you. Exactly. So what she did was that, the way they usually just forward. So she forwarded the video to one of our daughters also here in England and said, "Oh, you guys be careful, blah, blah, blah," and all that. Somehow, I think there was a neighbor had a social worker, and they were all talking together, gisting together, and somehow someone saw this stuff on her phone. And do you know she was jailed for that? Old woman, I think she was like 70 or something. Yeah.
We are sharing it.
So please, let's tell our parents, please.
It's good. I'm not tell them. If I tell you
if it was you in that video, and whatever video it was, because obviously we don't know what this is about. If it was you and somebody is forwarding nonsense about it to other people, how will you feel? As you are 70-year-old woman,
you don't get sense.
You don't know. So what you
don't know. Say the best thing to do is to do.
They will not share good
and gist about it.
Now she will learn in shame.
Yeah, she will learn in shame.
Mama will
then she can come out now and evangelize on YouTube and share experience.
70-year-old
friends, because sometimes, Dr. Timothy, when people have told their parents before, don't share this thing. What do you mean? I'm your inside the message. Inside the message.
Some parents, it's not. Let's even remove the sexual explicit things that you're not supposed to be sharing. Some parents, that there are some things that you share with your children that it triggers them.
Yes,
they will keep on doing it. So, for example, you have some of the bad things that happen in Nigeria. Let's say they are lynching people, burning people alive or something. Maybe your child is schooling in the north. You say because you want to be spreading awareness. They tell you that your child has not already seen this online. They will be forwarding scary, gruesome videos to their kids.
Children that don't listen to their parents,
this is how they will end up. I told you not to do this.
Common sense. Let me just say this. right now for me, as a child, there's a stage you become your parents' parent, if it makes any sense to you.
I don't want to.
I don't want to be their parents.
No, there's a point where you start, unknown to you start asking them, why did you take your medicine? Have you done, like, you will start becoming a version of them, like, eventually.
For people, people that have, like, they're still sound of mind, though, not
Right.
like medically that they
No,
are.
not that. I mean, like, they will kind of see the power where you have some kind of authority over them, like, checking on them. I think that, to me, I've had a conversation with my dad. We had actually, we took a vacation together, like, for a week. And we had that conversation for, like, from childhood and this and that, and we kind of cried. We got angry. We had, like, a heart to heart, like, for a week. Like, we just went through the whole thing. We had that conversation. So we did that. So that was our own understanding. So we got to to smoothing things out. We're still working on it, but that barrier of
It's progress. Thank you. Both of them, like, two people are willing.
Yeah. But that is because he's been in America for 30-40 years. So he kind of I'm saying no. I'm saying common sense. I'm saying, like, my dad in Nigeria was a terrorist. When he was coming, people run. It was that brutal. When it was like a dawn man.
He chose to do that.
No.
Yes.
I'm saying that it was a very scary, like, it was very, to me, like a god. People that were scared of him. Nobody could say anything. So to me, to have gone from that to this, to me, was a huge progress.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that because he's been here for a long time, then he saw that things were different. That kind of helped. I'm not saying he's like all the, but he helped a lot too. So when I'm like, my own kids were different, but we had to go through, because he was shocked when I first kind of challenged him, like when I was in college. Like, it's like, how dare you? How you like, who are you to tell me? So I'm like, so we had that back and forth for a minute. And that kind of helped my own, like, it helped me.
That's my husband.
How dare you? It's like, oh, now you go to medical school. Now you want to do accord.
You're growing.
I said, yeah, growing, like, yeah, a big man too. I'm like, no.
I want us to see you are not feeling my hand.
You want to be authentic.
I'm getting there now. I'm getting there. No. I'm common sense. I'm saying that I've been there, but I'm saying that after that, there has to be progress beyond that. I know what you're trying to say.
That's what I'm saying, that it's nice to talk about those things as well, so people understand the journey. We're very grateful for you speaking about it. That's why I kept asking when you were going through the phase, because obviously your heart would be beating.
You will be scared now. For this is the first time you are challenging status.
I had support too from my uncles. Let me not forget.
That's why you are like this. That's why
I had support. Let me not discount that, because they were the ones that gave me their, like, say something, speak your mind. Because my uncles were like, they were like they were like players, like they were like into, that's kind of like, they're like, guy, you don't have that confidence now. What's going on? They're like, oh yeah, let's fix this guy up. Go challenge your dad. Everything you want to say it, break it, go ahead. So they gave me that, like, backbone to talk and express myself. Like,
that's not why.
So they gave me a lot of support, emotion, like, just whatever is bothering you. So I'm saying that, like, to you guys out there, have somebody that you can talk to in the family or support.
True.
Going through with your parents, you have to have somebody to go back to and just to talk to. It helped a lot. It helped me, and hopefully it helped people out there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for unpacking.
That's very important. That's why the shook question is
important for people to know that if your parents are Obanje in real life, they are not like Yatman's family, or you don't have supporting uncles or aunties. Don't go and expect that.
Jay, before we reveal our secrets now.
It's going to be in the next video.
Jay, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Jay, maybe we're not expressing ourselves. Wait, please help us from
because I know.
Well, okay, so at this whole thing it's so vast, and the breadth of what we can talk about when it comes to African parenting is so wide that I don't even know how to begin. But as always, I like to use my experiences as an example, because I do see some similarities with some of the things that people have been saying. since this live stream started. So for me, my parents were, very similar to what everybody has talked about, where, you're just an extension of them. Everything that you have to do, it has to be, you know, approved by them. Any sense of, individuality or expression or even curiosity gets shut down. And it was really tough. It was really, really tough for me. And then eventually, I don't know when it clicked for me, but at some point I realized that like I was no longer living the life that I wanted personally, but I was now living the life that my parents wanted. So like a lot of the, and now that I'm looking back, I can actually see it. And I hope that when I share this, people can actually realize that maybe you are actually wasting your time on this earth doing, the things that you, in your heart, you don't want to do. Looking back, I had like a lot of, big dreams and big accomplishments and big goals, and I would say them to my friends with so much confidence. But somehow, somewhere along the way, all that just left. Like it was just gone. There was no sense of confidence. There wasn't any sense of, you know, uh, looking forward beyond, what the things that my parents wanted from me. So I remember they forced me to do, because Nigerian educational system is a little bit earlier than here in
very, very
Nigeria.
fast.
So I went to university. I think I said university at 15.
Yeah,
And I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And they were just like, oh, go and do economics. I'm like, okay, fine. At least I got admission. I can do economics. So I did it. I remember I was actually pushing for doing something else. I can't remember what the other thing I wanted to do. But my dad is like, like what do you want to be doing if you go and do this education? If you go and do this one now, like who is going to hire you? Where are you going to work? So they pushed me to do the economics, and I did it. Halfway through, I realized that this was a big, big mistake. And I remember, I think those were the early times I remember myself actually challenging my parents a little bit. And I'm like, and then I started getting like bad results, and they will be upset. Like, why are you getting these results? Like, are you not reading your book? I'm like, I'm trying, but this thing is not clicking for me. And that's when I started calling them. I'm like, I never wanted to do this in the first place. You guys forced me to do it. So now that we are here and we can change course, we just write it out, and hopefully, I'm able to come out of university with something decent. But the funny thing, even after having that conversation, which is what common sense sisters were alluding to, is like, it's like you're talking to a goat, like as no, because you think that they get it.
A goat will meh back to you. A wall
that doesn't have neighbors.
Exactly, because after all that conversation, I remember when I did it the first time. To your point, my heart was beating. I was shaking. I was so scared, but I was also very frustrated. I was just crying the whole time as I was trying to explain this to my parents. That look, you're mad, you're upset, you're telling me this, you're telling me that I'm not reading, I'm not intelligent, I'm not this, but like I don't like this course that you guys have pushed for me. And it was very tough. And I had that resolve in my mind. And I'm like, you know what? Never again. Like, I'm never going to let these people dictate my life. And that's what kind of sparked me standing up for myself. And also eventually standing up for my siblings as well. Because, after all that crying, and my dad is like, okay, you just try your best. You think that they've heard you. And then my sister was about to go to university. She said she wanted to do something, and that's the course she wanted to do. She when she told me about it, she was like, I could see the passion in her eyes as she was talking about, I want to do this because I'm passionate about this. I want to do this because I think I can do this. And then we got to my parents, and they were like, no, what's this one that you want to go and do? So you want to go and do this one, so that you become this one. I better go and do computer science, I be computer engineering. And my sister is just like, she was so frustrated, and it triggered me instantly, because I'm like, we literally had this conversation like maybe a year or two ago, when you were talking to me about my own situation when I was studying, and then now you want to force my sibling to do this. So I rallied behind her, and we fought it through, and she was able to do whatever she wanted to do at the end of the day. All this to say is, if you don't speak up for yourself, nobody is going to be able to see that, one, you're not happy with your current situation, and two, you're expecting a different standard from your parents. If you don't lay that out, they're not going to guess. Their ego will not even let them in tune to see that things are not placing where they're supposed to
You're
place.
not happy.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, it's tough. Sometimes you even have to do, I personally, like when I was making some certain decisions, especially when I came here and I decided to do postgraduate, I remember my dad was making fun of the the course I decided to go and study. I just ignored him. I pretended as if I didn't hear. But then what I said doing is I wouldn't tell them anything, because I realized that, like, every time I would tell them something, they had either something negative to it. Like when I say something, I mean like good stuff or progress or a plan that I had. So I said, not telling them stuff. And eventually they'd be like, you're not talking to us. You're not doing this. You're not even carrying us along. I'm like, who wants to carry you along whenever I open my
We're
mouth?
setting boundaries, mental
Exactly.
boundaries.
You have nothing positive to add to the conversation. So no, I'm not going to involve you in this. And I think for my own parents, luckily, I think, and in spite of everything else I've said, luckily, I think they realized that, like, if we don't adjust, we will not hear from these girls again. If we don't adjust, they will not talk to us again. If we don't listen, we will. So now, although it's taking a while, they are now in a position where they listen. But I've also set the expectation for myself that I'm not expecting much, to be quite honest. I've made that decision that I'm not going to be expecting much. My own focus now, because they've done their job, fine, congratulations, or whatever you want to say to them. But now it's time for me to focus on myself and how I want to exist and how I want to eventually raise children when I have them. So the relationship with our African parents is very complex, is very layered. And the only advice I would give is think about yourself first. Put yourself first. I know it goes against everything that we've been taught as Africans, to not bring your parents along, not quote unquote honor your father and your mother. I know it goes against some of those things that have been ingrained into us. But honestly, if you don't take the time to actually put yourself first and actually live the life that you want, you eventually find out in your 30s, in your 40s, you don't even know who you are. You have no clue who you are. You don't know what you stand for. You don't know what your values are. You don't know what your interests are. You don't even know the things that make you happy. You're just existing in the world with no sense of personal direction. So the only advice I would give is we can't change our parents, unfortunately. Yes, there's some lucky ones that will come around, and they'll start they'll start coming around and start maybe seeing things from your perspective. But honestly, it's still very tough when you're in a position where you're expecting acceptance, you're expecting you're expecting acceptance,
Understanding.
exactly, you're expecting that from them. And it's very tough because once you go there and you don't receive it, you come back and you feel rejected and you feel. So protect yourself by just, I don't know, maybe it sounds.
You see
this Canadian Wi-Fi. That's how it is to do us sometimes.
Yeah, I think she
We're
wanted
not
to say
hearing
maybe it
you.
sounds harsh or something. That's the thing we're saying. Like,
It's going to be a tough journey, but you have to.
You have to walk the path alone.
That's that.
Alone, you have that act, you have that skill, and it is possible. The journey might be very tough, but you will feel fulfilled while you are doing it. And I agree with Jay when she says the fact that, Jay, are you there? Is it back? Because we're not hearing you before. I think we can. Yeah. So Toby, are you there? Sometimes
Hey, hello guys.
Okay.
How are you,
Hello.
Toby?
Hi guys. How are you?
We're good though. Longest time.
Yeah. I've been I miss you guys. It's been crazy schedule all over, man. But thank God I'm here. So yeah, I'm just gonna shoot straight. Great topic. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was in the middle of work, but I
had to think about it before saying if Papa will come and say something.
Oh, sorry. Please go ahead. I'm listening.
No. I wanted to vocally say it, but I had to caution myself.
Okay.
Right. So you continue.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I was actually working, but I was listening the entire time. And great show. I'm really enjoying everything everybody said. I greet everybody on the panel. Timothy, Axman, Jay, and I think that's it.
Yeah.
So, I have a few things I want to say. Everybody have said everything, but here are just a few things I'm going to add. So there are several things that actually underpin or undergird this practice, this issue we're talking about, the issue of respect. And there's an assumption that if I respect you means I have to do what you say, or I have to agree with you. That is completely flawed. So those are some of the things. So then most of our parents, they see because you are a child, you are younger, or maybe you came from them, means you're stupid, you're dumb, you don't know anything about this world. So they take it upon themselves. They are going to teach you. They are anything you learn has to come from me. They can't be wrong. I mean, how can they be wrong? After all, they popped you out. You came from their bodies, you know. So yeah,
Right for 9 months.
exactly. They tell you all the stories of what they went through and all of that. Then it's like, so if you're a child, you have no say. You have no. Who gives you the opinion you have? I mean, where did you get it from? Even the school you went to, your parents paid for it. So what are you talking about? So all of those things, cultural practices, they basically continue to reinforce this issue we're talking about today. And many of these parents don't know any better. I'm actually going to cut them some slack. So I'm not going to come too hard on the parents. The reason many of them continue to do it is because they don't know any better. And now, secondly, even when they admit that what they are doing is wrong, they don't want to lose control. They feel like they're going to lose control if they listen to another opinion. They feel like they've lost the child, or what would their friends say? What would the family people say? What would they say, what kind of parents are you? And look at, you're allowing your child, maybe a family member visits and they see how liberal your parents are with you, and then the family, by the time you walk out, they'll be like, about so and so. Is this what you allow your children to do? What kind of nonsense is that?
I'm also struggling with
Why should your child come and sit in the living room when we are watching TV?
I mean, exactly. Why would your child be putting mouth in our? Why would your child be sitting down watching TV with us? Now, but like you're right. Who knows what the heck is going on in his own house? So, but he won't come out and tell you what's going on. And then your parents, even though they were so confident in the method they were using, the moment that person says that, they begin to second guess their decision, their method, their style of parenting. So all of these things are interwoven, and that's why these practices are continuing to be they're reinforced every time. The next thing I want to say is that for the change that we need, it's a two-way street. Now we come down on the parents, we also have to come down on the on children as well. If you're a child or whatever, like, so your parents are trying to be commanding, they're trying to force you to do something, they're trying to use all of these old methods we're talking about. What is your attitude towards that? What is your approach? Because what we're used to is, I'm just going to disagree. So, dad, no. Mom, no. So we got to have a conversation, right? Conversation is a two-way street, right? So how about you sit them down? How about you come to your parents and say, I understand what you're saying. I love you. I respect you, but I respectfully disagree. I'm not going to take. I have. I am telling you, and it turned out great. I mean, maybe I'm blessed just to have rational parents.
I think so.
Maybe.
I think Toby, you're the except you're the
I'm the exception.
You're
I'm the exception, not the
to
rule.
You people, let me be a Nigerian now. It looks like you people are ganging up against me. And
No,
my opinion.
they were male
You
children.
people will understand.
Not they are male children.
You will understand in life show number 2 when a mother had the audacity to steal 35 million naira from her child. You people will understand. You will tell me that.
But we are listening to you.
But don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, look here. So I'm going to admit that what I'm saying is probably not feasible or not practicable in
It
all
all depends on the
situations.
parents involved.
Yeah. So again, I acknowledge that maybe. I mean, just to think that my father was even a military officer, and yet he was able to come to. Do you know my father lives in America, by the way? And then sometimes we have conversations, and he's come, like Axman was talking about. He's come to a point where when we're talking, he acknowledges some of the things he's done in the past. And then he tells me, oh, Nibinuni, as in sorry in Yoruba, let me say it in English, like, you don't be upset, whatever they said or did is the way they were raised, is what they knew back then. My father is acknowledging to me, he's saying that to me, that he has come to the point where he understands that all of the method he used was what was handed to him. But now he knows better. You see what I'm saying? So, I'm sorry?
I said, and that's very powerful. Sometimes that's all like
That's
kids
what
want.
kids is.
But the
Right.
head ones I will
The
not
coconut
admit
head ones.
That's
Ella, I cannot tell you what that did to my soul. I mean,
Tell us what it did to your soul.
I mean, I was like, hallelujah. Like the heavens just open up.
Did you dance around or did you tell him?
I mean, I'm like, if I could do Shoki Elejo or whatever. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, what we just had a moment. We just had a moment where my father actually acknowledges that, look, Omo, I get what you're saying, and I want to actually begin to,
have that relationship with you.
basically do this whole paradigm shifting. It's just because it's hard. It's what they've done. It's what they've always known. But even the mere fact that he says it to me, oh, is the most, nothing compares to the feeling. So I just want to say that in a situation where, as an individual out there, if it's anybody who's struggling, because you can be an adult, you can be as old as whatever, and this issue is going to continue with you. Your parents are still going to be as dogged, as reckless as ever. I think that there comes to a point. I'm always going to go back to MLK's quote, right? That we can disagree without being disagreeable. You know, because the method of fighting and all this belligerence is not really working. So I'm like, okay, mom, dad, I love you, I respect you. Okay, I'm listening to what you're saying, but at this point, this is what is good for me, and I'm praying and I'm hoping that you respect that decision. And pray for me. I need your blessings too, because this is the way. This is
Now
the
that time you go because the parents wey go talk. If you did our
Yeah.
best, then you listen to us.
Yeah. I know. You see, I know I run the risk. I know I run the risk of that coming when I ask for the blessings. Anyway, so I'm just trying to, I was thinking about this and I'm like, what is the most, how pragmatically can we actually approach this where we can foster a conversation between, a new way of thinking, a new way to approach. I mean, all the gra that the parents will show, all the gra is just a facade. At the end of the day, inside of them, they see what you are saying.
But there's
They
damage
see
that
it.
they've done to the children.
But
Oh,
that's one angle that I wanted to also say as well. Can you stop? Sorry, my dog is barking. One of the challenges I wanted to say to what Toby was saying is, you're talking about pragmatism and all that stuff, but and I get it. I know it's probably the best. It actually is the best way to get a lot of the things that you want to get done. But the thing is, our parents didn't teach us how to be pragmatic. It's actually a skill that you have to learn along the way. And if your parents have been approaching you in a gra way, I'm not saying that gra is the best way to get.
You have to gragalize this.
But it's like that's your only response. Because
Yeah.
honestly, one of the things that I've been learning. Okay.
Bingo! Even the dog.
Jay, go take care of your pet, I beg.
Bingo! Walk up to not the color. That's what the name. Even the dog agrees.
So let me throw this in real quick, guys. When I remember when I first moved to the United States, my first job that I got, they do this performance review meetings, where they bring you in and then they have to assess you. I went in there because of all these things we're talking about. I went in there with my Niger. I was so fearful. I was so timid. I was so cowardly. Like I wasn't confident. If I tell you, say all that height where you talk, I shrank like spinach when you soak for water. I'm telling you. So I sat in this meeting in front of these three supervisors, And then they were like, "All right, so we've been looking at your, work so far. Amazing." But I did shake like say, like that sir, ma. All I'm waiting for is the hammer to drop. You're done. Your job is over. You're fired. That was all. And these guys were interested in having a productive conversation on the work I've been doing. But in my mind, it's like, you're stupid. You're foolish. You have done. You tell my friend, get up. My friend, get out of this place. You're fired. But guess what though? There was another colleague. There was another American colleague that was sitting back right next to me. This kid. Oh my goodness! There was water on the table. I remember he first of all he poured the water he poured himself a glass of water. Like he was so free, like he was so free in the freaking room. It was just all over the place. And then he was even asking the supervisors, how's the family? Like, how are the kids? Oh man, I love your shoes. Like, where did you get those from?
Is
Like,
that you? What did that do to you? You seeing that? What did that do to
yo,
you?
I say, look at this guy. Don't I fire you because now he makes me look stupid.
I also want to ask that question. Was the guy as tall as you?
No, tall, tall. Don't even get me started on that. I'm like, wait, what just happened here? So anyways, I brought up that story to let you guys see the impact of some of these things. You know, so it took me time. I had to unlearn. I have to learn how to grow in confidence, how to be confident of yourself, how to be expressive, how to express your opinion, how to disagree politely, how to, all of these things that we were not raised with because they're always shutting us down. If you're asking a question, daddy, mommy, what is this? Uncle, shut up your mouth. Who asked you a question? You talk too much.
You will
Go
cry.
to your room. Sit down there. Have you read your book? Have you finished your homework? Have you eaten your food? Eat your vegetables. We're always shouting and shutting down and shutting down. All of that, it's going to accumulate. It accumulates and form, and then basically forms your personality. And you don't even realize it. Even as you become an adult, it affects you. So you have to continue to unlearn that and learn the proper way. So, anyways, I don't want
Thank you.
to belabor the point. It's an ongoing thing. It's an ongoing thing. We're not gonna change our parents overnight. I think it's been said already. So we're working on ourselves. Parents work on themselves. But again, my appeal to the parents. I'm not a parent. I mean, I don't have any kids, not that I know of. I mean, but I'm just, I'm just I'm just saying that it's gonna take time. It's gonna take guys. Let's not digress, please. It's gonna take time for us to change some of these things. It's gonna take time, and so like I said at the beginning of my contribution, I'm willing to cut the parents some slack. I'm willing to say that, daddy, mommy, I know this is how you've always done it. It doesn't make it right. Please think about it another way to do this. Think about another method, another formula. I know that was what was handed to you, but there's a better way. Times are changing and you've got to change. And lastly, I'll say this and I'll be quiet. As parents get older and you get older, I have noticed that they don't use force, they use emotionalism. So they're going to come on you. They're going to come on you with emotions,
They will man, they say parenting the parents.
As in Ella, man. By the time they come on you with that emotionalism thing, Jesus. And then sometimes they might even add some tears in there. They may be crying. They look so weak now and frail.
We continue this dragging I like this.
And you're like, oh my gosh, I know the right thing I'm supposed to do. But then you are seeing this thing that it's like a weight, a heavy weight they're throwing at you. And then you are up emotional blackmail. Thank you, Yo-Yo. Emotional blackmail. And then you have to do something that you don't want to do. So all because somebody's guilt tripping you into based on what they want you to do. It doesn't matter what the decision is. So I think at the end of the day, we can begin to go back and forth, have productive conversations, and then know what is right, and admittedly say, okay, mommy, daddy, uncle, whoever, and auntie, I love you, I appreciate all that you've done, but I'm going to go a different direction on this matter. And hopefully that will get us somewhere. I'll leave it there for now, guys.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Toby. So we are rounding up.
I think we should round up with this video because we need this energy.
And
the
next live
stories
show is very painful.
These ones are even nice.
Ella and Yo-Yo.
My dear.
Sorry, could you give me just 30 seconds, final words? Yeah. Just from all what you guys have said, parenting is not easy. I've got a 10-year-old, and I just want to direct this to your person. I'm sure you'd agree with me, especially if you've got children that are growing. Parenting is not easy. And probably that's why you can see I'm coming from the angle that, okay, maybe I want to cut them some slack. I understand. Trust me, parenting is not easy. I think maybe some other time we can probably maybe do another show about parenting. And then some of the things that Jay said, I totally respect her experience and what she's been through. But trust me, as a parent now, because my first boy is 10, and sometimes when you try to think, what do you want to do? And you say, oh, mommy, I don't really know. Do you think I should be a doctor? And then your colleagues out there are telling you that, oh, now even for the job market, what other jobs are there? A whole lot of things. I think that should make another show. But trust me, guys, parenting is not easy. Yeah, sometimes there were times that I've actually had to cry to my son and say, oh, what's your problem? Is it a curse to have come here? Because when we're in Nigeria, you dare not do this. So trust me, it's not fun. Yeah. Let me just let you guys know. There's a 6-year-old who actually lied on the parents and at school and said that the mom was doing things to them that the mom didn't do. And the older one was saying, no, that was not right. They started a safeguarding inquest into this. And because of that, this person had been suspended. Not like suspended. They would just be like, oh, clear your shit first. Guys, it's not fun. Yeah, let me just I know we're talking about our parents and all that, but that have children.
So those are toxic children out there. Yeah, there are some children.
For us that have children, my God, I don't know. I'll just let your person say. I don't know how old these kids are, but trust me, sometimes, you can't do anything. Yeah, you can't do anything. Sometimes you just, I wish I was in Nigeria. Not like I'm going to heat.
I guess what you mean.
James Dan. So while we're saying all this other stuff, and then about the thing about having a career and all that, we'll talk about that later. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I just want your person to say something.
We know that. We know that, Dr. Timothy. We know that when we come on our live shows, it's issue specific. So we know that there are toxic children out there. We have thumbnail and reset that we're gathering for those ones.
Okay, good. Thank you, ladies.
Everybody has their Saturday to come to court.
Yes, today's Saturday. Toxic parents. The toxic parents is the one we're coming to. There are some people that are trying their best. We also know that there are some children that they have a balumo things inside their spirits. We're coming for those ones. We're coming for those ones that they will send some are sent to school. They will be sniffing Canadian loud. Up and down. We're coming for all of them. That's another video. But thank you so much. We'll see you in the next show.
Thanks, ladies. Bye. See you later. Bye.
Yachman, are you there?
Maybe it's at the next live show. Let's go.
Yachman
is at the next live show. We are going.
Jay, are you? Let us know your final words, Jerry.
Yeah, my final words, and I get what Temiti is saying, about it not being easy and all that stuff, and I can empathize with her. I know I'm not a parent, but also if you're going to be guiding your children, I think you should guide them based on knowledge and not based on something that sounds fancy. Like from my own perspective, like they were just telling me to do things. They had no information about it whatsoever. It's just because it sounded nice. For them to tell their friends that this person is doing this. It didn't come from any informed position. It just came from, oh, because you're doing this, you're going to do this, and then you're going to become this without factoring in any of our interests or any things that we were actually good at. So I think I'll push back on Timothy's perspective in that regard. Overall, though, I would say, just honestly put yourself first. That's what I'm going to say. Especially if you have those parents that are emotionally manipulative, put yourself first. protect yourself, protect your emotions, and do the work. To Toby's point, it especially if you've been put through the ringer when it comes to this toxic parenting, it does chip at your self-esteem and who you are. So put in the work to grow your confidence, grow your own values, and grow your own perspectives and how you want to exist in the world. And then if it doesn't match up with what your parents subscribe to, then at that point you now have to start making some tough decisions. But it's no way to live your life if you're constantly being manipulated and controlled by your parents, because at the end of the day you end up probably unconsciously or subconsciously passing these toxic traits to your children in the process as well. Hey, that's all. I will see you on the next.
Thank you so much, Jay. We appreciate you. Thank you. Yachman.
We're removing you because you are not speaking.
You're not saying anything.
So see you at the next live show. Everybody, we're going to do our food
stuff and then go take final conclusion.
I don't have my final conclusion is the next.
The final conclusion is the next live show for the parents, for the toxic parents. But for you guys,
this one was too much. Some people are advertising. I don't want people to advertise.
I don't want
they are old and
because there are some good parents that we know about, but the toxic one we have to iron. The ones that are continuously transferring from generation to generation, those are the ones that we're ironing them today. And if you're in this situation, you better listen to a suggestion from jail. Find yourself, take yourself out of those situations mentally, okay, and then begin to journey on yourself of return to who you're supposed to be.
Yes.
By unlearning some things, you have to mentally dissociate yourself from that. Let us use food to entice you.
Yes. After we play this food advert, we are going to put the link to the next live show in
the community tab.
So you just have to refresh it and then click on it, and you'll find us there in like 2-3 minutes.
But if you're in the GTA area, please, and you want good food, head up to this website. Okay.
Welcome to Yoyomialicious, the best Nigerian online food service in Toronto, Canada. We deliver to Toronto, Concord, downtown Toronto, Etobicoke, North York, Thornhill, Vaughan, Woodbridge, Mississauga and Scarborough. Order now at yoyomialicious.com. A unique taste of Nigeria. Follow us on Instagram at yoyomialicious. Like and share this video. Nigeria to the world.
We're going to be seeing you in the next live show. Mama and daughter, we can see you. Good evening. Make sure that you refresh your page in the next 3 minutes.
Check out the community tab and we'll be
for
there.
The link will be there. The next live show is it's a lot of bidi bidi bang bang. Not because someone that they come, they do soprano. A lot of jiggy jiggy jang bang going on in the next live show. So until we see you next time, for those of you that will be watching later and those of you are currently watching now, may common sense never depart from you. See you in the next live show coming up in the next 3 minutes. Okay?
Bye.
Bye.